Hi, I'm Dustin Abbott, and typically when I'm here to do reviews, I'm reviewing things for their pure practical, effectiveness. But I also recognize, as do some companies, that there are photographers that also care about the style of the thing. So occasionally I like to throw in reviews of items that are more than just, practically functional, but they're also aesthetically attractive for the stylish photographer. So let me introduce you today to a beautiful messenger bag, photography bag from the company Cecilia. This is the Tharp messenger bag, and I've been evaluating this for several months, using it in a variety of different situations. Now, the Tharp comes in a couple of different sizes. This is the 8-liter that I'm reviewing today. There's also a 12-liter option, and it's in this beautiful top grain leather. This is the chestnut version, and it looks really, really great in person, but beautiful grade material. But I was also interested in the size of this. I own several messenger bags and have, used and reviewed tons of bags over the last number of years. And the 8-liter size was interesting to me because the footprint of the bag is not hugely different than, say, my 5-liter messenger bag that I have. About the same width. It's maybe a little bit deeper, or maybe a little bit wider, what I should say. But where the extra room really is in the added depth. Why that's important to me is it means that there is a lot more combinations that I can stand upright in here without using up the whole bag with it situated to the side. So case in point here, I've got a Sony A7R Mark III with a grip extender mounted on it. And then I've got a fairly substantial lens in the G Master 85mm f1.4 lens from Sony. Now you'll note that even with the lens hood attached and in place here, I'm able to set that down upright in the bag. And while it's a tight fit there, I'm still able to put the flap over and carry it and then be ready to use it, at a moment's notice. The nice thing is that obviously there's a much greater number of combinations of camera and lens, and many of the things that I shoot with combinations are fairly akin to this in size, but there's also still room inside on one divided up. On one side I have allowed a 15mm f2, if I wanted to shoot wide angle, and here on the other side I've got the Voigtlander. This is the 65mm f2 macro lens, and so also another very different look at the world. All of that can easily fit inside, and I've got plenty of space to, fully secure and zip up that top section to make sure that everything is, safely riding inside. Now, the interesting option is if you're kind of, walking, whatever, and you want ready access, you can actually unzip this portion, and there's this over this flap that it attaches magnetically, and then it will attach magnetically in the front as well. And so that way you have immediate access to the gear if you're walking along. Now, there are, obviously practical limits to that, and I'll just give you a little personal anecdote to delineate that. But if you have too big a combination to where it's kind of top heavy, which I did at one point, it was fine when I was actually carrying the bag because, gravity's working it to my benefit, and there is the flap there. But then when I was done shooting, kind of hiking along with it, I'd put it in the car, and then when I went to pull it out, it kind of tipped this way, and because it was kind of top heavy, something fell out of the bag because it opened up. And so just be careful about that. The magnetic attachment points down here, they're about the size of a quarter, and so it's fine if you don't have it overfilled. I wouldn't have minded if the bottom magnetic sections were actually larger. So that way, if you maybe like to stuff the bag a little too much, guilty, you could still put the top flap over and connect. Whereas if you have it too full right now, it's not going to latch. You need to leave yourself enough room to where it will magnetically attach. Underneath that top flap, there is also a front zippered portion here. It's about the width of the bag, not particularly deep, but great for storing. Well, I'll show you. In here I've got cleaning cloth. I've got a little cleaning brush for the sensor. I've got a camera strap. If I wanted to go to a strap, there's room for batteries and memory cards. Whatever else, passport, wallet. I've got bug spray in here because it's Ontario, Canada in the summer. That means lots of bugs, and so anyway, all of that in there. Also useful, which I didn't initially think was, but there is a side pocket on each side. It doesn't look all that deep, and I thought, well, that doesn't seem like it's going to be all that practical. But the nice thing about leather, of course, is as you start to use it and it loosens a little bit, it's actually a perfect slot, for example, for putting in my phone in the side. So I've actually, a lot of times, if I'm carrying the bag, I put my phone there because it's more comfortable than in my pocket. It also will fit, like my wallet. It will fit keys, things like that. And so it actually has had a lot of practical value to me. The strap itself is made out of material like a, tightly stitched nylon that's much like a seatbelt material. Also reminds me of the Peak Design slide straps, very strong and durable. Over the top of that, there is this section that's leather along the top that you can slide along to help to cushion where you're carrying it. Underneath, it is actually a padded breathable mesh, which is really nice because it helps to distribute the weight easily, and also the breathable mesh helps it from getting too hot against your skin. And so I've carried it for upwards of an 8-kilometer, 5-mile hike, and I found that while periodically I did switch it from side to side to help to distribute the weight, I had no issues with it, and it worked fine for that. Further helping that is a great back design to where you have got these nicely padded, fairly breathable sections, but also channels all around that allows air to continue to move through this. And as a result of that, even on longer hikes, I have found that I didn't get too hot against my back or wherever it was touching against my body. So some really solid design when it comes to that. The bag has actually been more functional than what I expected it to. There are limitations to that, however. I mean, the fact that it is leather, it's beautiful leather, but of course it has the same liabilities that leather does. So this is not going to be your best all-weather bag. I mean, being out in the light rain is probably not going to kill it. You can put things on it to treat it, but this is not a weather-resistant bag. There's no rain hood. So if you're looking for something to carry out into a lot of difficult environmental conditions, better options than this. If you're looking for a stylish city bag, for example, or, for me, it's an everyday bag that I can take into professional situations and it doesn't look out of place, certainly works very nicely for that. The other, of course, downside to a beautiful leather material is that it is more costly. And so this bag retails in the 8-liter size for $249. As mentioned, you can get it in a 12-liter size, so it's a little bit more expensive. You can get full-on backpacks also in a nice top grain leather. They have other options as far as color. There's a black leather that looks nice. And then if you have, either ethical concerns about using leather, or you just want some other material, they do have other options like twill options if you'd like to look at that. All very stylish, and so if you care about that, then it might be worth the money. As I noted, functionality has actually been really good, and I love the size of this particular bag. As a result, it's getting very, very heavy play in my rotation. I own lots of bags, but I've been using this on pretty much a daily basis because it just fits about the right amount of gear that I'm typically going out with on, the short-term hauls. And so I really enjoy it for that. I'll throw a link in the description down below so you can check it out for yourself if you're interested in it. Also, there's linkage there to follow me on social media, including now on Instagram. Sign up for my newsletter and stay abreast of everything that's happening. You can become a patron and help to support this channel. And of course, I give advanced screenings of upcoming content every week to my patrons, and so check that out. And of course, if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button right here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.